Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. Listen, the charts tell us that this is likely the last chance you'll have to buy these big layer ones before we hit the banana zone. Now we're at the beginning of the banana, and it should last all year or at least until early next year. Now, it's clear that we will see changes along the way. I know I'm not always right, but let me tell you what's on my mind. In the cryptocurrency world, Raoul Pal's banana zone thesis is one of the most anticipated ideas of 2024. In his most recent video update for investors, the founder and CEO of Real Vision talked about why he thinks now is the last chance for investors to buy major cryptocurrencies before their prices go through the roof. Pal says that prices will go through the roof during this part of the crypto bull market because of better liquidity in the run-up to the US presidential election. Pal thinks that this long-awaited phase might be coming up in just a few weeks. He says that once it starts, the prices of crypto assets will go up so quickly and sharply that it will be hard to keep up with everything. He can't say for sure when it will begin, but he thinks it will be sometime between now and September. In the video, Pal uses 7 different charts to back up his claim that the total value of the cryptocurrency market will at least triple before the end of the cycle in 2025. He says it will go from $2.2 trillion to $15 trillion so that everyone can fully benefit from the banana zone. Pal has put 90% of his cash on hand into Solana because he thinks it will be the fastest cryptocurrency. It was this week that VanEck filed with the SEC for the first Solana ETF in the US. VanEck's head of research for digital assets, Matthew Sigel, wrote that they had filed for a Solana ETF because they think it is a product like Bitcoin or Ethereum. After the news came out, the price of Solana went up by more than 10%. The possible approval of a Solana ETF could be a big boost for Solana later this year or in 2025. At the very end of the movie, Pal breaks down his banana zone predictions for Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin using 7 different charts. A lot of you are paying attention to the cryptocurrency market. The last time I flashed you an update, that nuke was down to about 120 in Solana, and I told people, listen, I think this is the low. After that, it bounced off of that level and went all the way back down. It tried to repeat that low but failed, and then it began to bounce again. My video's point is to show you that I think the banana zone is coming and that I think Solana will lead it, even though everyone else is saying when banana. And, as I've told you, you need to be patient. Things like this don't happen all at once, but when they do, they can change your life. Things get really exciting right now because we're at that point in the 4-year cycle right before the US election. And there is often a pull around the time of half. A lot of the time, global liquidity has stopped, which is what happened lately. In other videos, I showed you how to look ahead and see that liquidity is about to spike. There are a lot of interesting things going on at the same time that liquidity is about to rise. So the Solana chart is a great example of a wedge pattern. This is what I shared on FB. It's been talked about. It is perfect in every way. That was the last check. The lower trend line has been tested 3 times, and the upper trend line has been tested 3 times. That's about it for me. These patterns have the best chance of working out of all pattern continuations, wedges, triangles, or whatever you want to call them. I don't get caught up in the specifics of the technique crowns. For me, anything that looks like a wedge is a wedge. It's a wedge. It's a wedge. It speeds up when it breaks the top. From the bottom up, though, things get really interesting. It's also interesting that at Glomac Investor we look at how volatile assets are and see that when they get very low, they often turn around and go back up in volatility. In crypto, markets with low volatility tend to be going down and markets with high volatility tend to be going up. Whenever Solana has dropped below this 50 mark in the last 30 days, it tends to go back up. Yesterday, the same thing happened. And the last 5 times it did this from this point, it did 109% in December in 2 months, 32% in June and August in 2 months, 57% in 2 months in September, 527% in 3 months in February, and 78% in 3 months in March. I really like this strong signal. This time the same signal was seen on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price history is longer, which is a good thing. This means that every time the instability got close to 20%, Bitcoin, which is more stable now, bounced back a lot. Once more, these bounces have led to 83%, 85%, 200%, 100%, 85%, and 71% of sales. These are really good signs. There is no such thing as perfect or flawed, but this puts the odds in your favor. And another thing I look for is a boss who stays strong against others. It is very important that you understand that this is Solana vs. Bitcoin. It keeps going up and up and up through stairs. I bought Solana when it broke out against Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll show you in a second. That was in September or October of last year, and since then it's gone up in steps. We are about to blast through the next level. That means that owning Solana should be better than owning Bitcoin. The pattern on this chart is very similar to the pattern on this chart for E. No matter what, we think Solana will do better once it hits a level of 0.055 ETH, even with the ETH ETF. Today we also heard that the Van Eck family has filed for a Solana ETF. This does not mean that it will be accepted, though. A few of these people have filed for years ahead of time. They only want to get in and hear what the SEC thinks. But we know that people will want to go with the Solana NFT. ETH first. If you're watching this in a week, we should have an ETF, which will bring new money into crypto, and, as always, spread out the risk. So it goes into ETH, then spreads to Solana, and finally spreads down the risk curve to places like WIF, where it makes money. I don't want to trade rag, but that's how things usually go. We should be able for Solana to do better than ETH and Bitcoin now that everything is in place. Also, Ethereum is about to make a move against Bitcoin. This is very important, and I've been waiting for it to happen for a long time. The design on the chart is very pretty. It should reach the upper limit of the range. If it does, it might break through the upper limit, giving ETH more value compared to Bitcoin and setting a new all-time high. That's what I've thought for years, and I think it will be proven. But wait, ETH isn't my big bet right now. All of my Ethereum is in XCOPY, ART, and Beeple NFTs. So my real liquid tokens are Solana, since Solana is going to do better than both ETH and Bitcoin. When Bitcoin starts to do better than ETH and Solana starts to do better than the others, that's usually a sign that altcoin season has begun. This season of altcoins is compared to the last one here. It's been almost immaculate in how perfect it has been. Don't think everything will go perfectly, but look at what's coming up. The area with bananas. All kinds of crazy things start to happen in the banana zone. It looks like the market value of all altcoins could grow 10 times faster than Ethereum. That's a lot, then. That's a big move. These things are going to move very quickly. Also, don't forget the thesis. Do not mess this up. You're going crazy. You're going to buy everything your friends are telling you is stupid. Be careful. Keep most of the people in the majors. Keep between 80% and 90% of your money in the majors. Hold on to 10% to record some things here. You won't be able to make money on most of it. Believe me, I've been there before. Anyway, it's almost time for altcoin season during election years. Your X feed is getting it now. It looks like it's getting warmer. This is being filmed before the presidential discussion. This is the time of the year when Bitcoin is usually very strong. This kind of chaos happens before the election in the summer, in June, July, and August. People don't know what it means or who will be charged or anything else. So people take a little less risk. Then, whoever wins the market will keep the banana zone going after the election. That's usually how things go. Again, don't expect perfection, but from here on out, it's likely to go up and to the right with a consolidation correction in the middle. Be ready for those corrections and that instability. Down 35% to 25% is what you can expect. All of them are fine. People are crazy on X because the market has been flat for the last week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks.